Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna. So thank you all for joining in for our Srila Prabhupada book study. We are studying this book, Raja Vidya, the King of Knowledge. We'll start with the prayers. Om Jnanatimidandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Shri Chaitanya Manobishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Uttapadakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunathanvitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Sahitam Sri Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakhanvitamscha Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Preshaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swami Niti Namine Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvisesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine Namo Mahavadanyaya Krishna Prema Pradhayate Krishnaya Krishna Chaitanya Namne Gaura Dushe Namaha Panchatattvaatmakam Krishnam Bhaktarupa Swarupakam Bhaktavataram Bhaktakyam Namami Bhakti Shaktikam He Krishna Karuna Sindho Dinabandho Jagatpate Gopesh Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namosute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Prishabhanu Devi Pranamami Haripriye Vancha Kalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhya eva cha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Jai Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shri Vasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare Hare Gurave Gaurachandraya Radhikaya Tadalaye Krishnaya Krishna Bhaktaya Tadbhaktaya Namo Namaha Mukam Karoti Vachalam Pangum Langayate Girim Yat Kripatamaham Vande Shri Gurun Dinatarinam Paramananda Madhavam Shri Krishna Chaitanya Ishwaram Hari Om Tat Sat Hare Krishna. So Danut Pranams. So we are reading chapter number 4. Chapter number 3 of this wonderful book of Raja Vidya, the King of all knowledge. So yesterday we were seeing who is a Mahatma, right? Mahatmanas tu mam partha daivim prakriti mashritaha. So Mahatma is a person who takes shelter at the internal energy of the Lord, one who serves the internal pleasure potency of the Lord, who does not engage in sense gratification but utilizes every opportunity to serve the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So that is a real Mahatma. Mahatmanas tu mam partha daivim prakritim ashritaha. They take shelter of the internal pleasure potency of the Lord. And then Krishna also says that such Mahatmas are very rare, durlabha, right? Why? Because in general we find the entire population actually trying to enjoy their own senses. Punas charvita charvananam, right? They continuously engage in trying to enjoy their senses, in trying to exploit the three modes of material nature, or whatever is available to them. What's in it for me? How can I enjoy, right? So that is what is the general tendency of human beings. So somebody who is sacrificing such sense gratificatory tendencies for the purpose of the service of the Lord is really rare. That's what is the opinion of Lord Shri Krishna himself. Yeah. So let me quickly share my screen and then let's continue with this chapter. Okay, some problem with the mouse, this laptop. Yeah. Okay. So devotees who want to read may raise your hands and then we can quickly continue. We're continuing with the definition of Mahatmas as explained by Srila Prabhupada here. Okay, Leelanandani Mataji, go ahead. Such Mahatmas are not under the control of material nature. From there. Hare Krishna. Oh yes, Mataji, you have to unmute yourself. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Okay, Karpagavali Mataji, Can you unmute yourself?
Yes, Mataji. Yes, Mataji. Thank you, Mataji.
Hare Krishna, Dandatam.
Such Mahatmas are not under the control of material nature. Mahatmanas tu Mam Partha Daivam Prakriti Ashriyata. God is great, and the Mahatma's heart also becomes great by serving the great. Mahatma Mataji, Mahatma is not a stamp for a political leader. One cannot be stamped Mahatma by votes. The standard for Mahatma is given in the Bhagavad Gita. The Mahatma is one who has taken the shelter of the superior energy of the Lord. Of course, all energy are his, and he does not make distinctions between the spiritual energy and the material energy. But for the conditioned soul who is situated marginally between the material energy and the spiritual energy, there is a distinction. The Mahatmas see this distinction and so take shelter under the spiritual energy, Devam Prakritim. By serving the great, Mahatmas also become great through identifying with the superior energy. Aham Brahmasmi, I am the Brahman spirit. It is not that they become puffed up and think they are God. Rather, if one becomes Brahman, he should show his activities in Brahman. Spirit is active, and to become Brahman is not to become inactive. Brahman is spirit, and these material bodies are active only because Brahman is within them. If we are active in despite our contact with material nature, do we cease to be active when we purify ourselves of the material contamination and establish ourselves in our proper identity as pure Brahman? Realizing I am Brahman means exhibiting, means
Engagement.
engagement in spiritual activity because we are spirit and our activities are exhibited even though we are contaminated by matter. To become Brahman does not mean to become void, but to establish ourselves in the superior nature, which means superior energy and superior activities. To become Brahman means to be completely engaged in rendering devotional service to the Lord. Thus, the Mahatma understands that if service is to be rendered, it is to be rendered to Krishna and no one else. We have so long served our senses. Now we should serve Krishna. There is no question of stopping service, for we are meant for service. Is there anyone who does not serve? If we ask the president, "Who are you serving?" he will tell us that he is serving the country. No one is devoid of service. Service we cannot stop, but we do have to redirect the reality. When this is done, we become a Mahatma. This
Hare Krishna. Thank you, Mataji. Hare Krishna.
thank you, Mataji. Thank
So,
you.
so here, thank you so much. So here, actually, Prabhupada tells in one of his lectures, when he's explaining that Jivera Swarupa Hai Krishna and Nitya Das, right? The propensity of the human being is to engage in service, right? Service is the dharma of the soul, just like we were discussing the other day. Sugar's dharma is sweetness. There cannot be anything to sugar apart from sweetness, right? So in this way, the sweetness is the dharma of sugar. Similarly, a jiva or a living entity cannot be without serving the Lord, right? Such service is the dharma of the living entity. So Prabhupada explains in this particular lecture that if one does not serve God, he serves dog, right? We see so many people running behind dogs, and especially in the Prabhupada gives example when he was giving a lecture in one of the Western countries. He was mentioning how when a person runs behind the dog, right, early morning they take the dog for a walk, and then the dog stops here, there, anywhere, and does the potty. What happens in the at least in the Western nations? You have to pick up the potty of the dog and then put it in a cover and then run behind the dog. So Prabhupada was asking in a joking way, who's the master? Right? The dog seems to be the master because the dog is running wherever it wants. And what is this person doing? This person is running behind the dog, carrying the potty of the dog and running behind him. And the dog is independently standing, moving here and there, doing its own job. But the man is actually running behind the dog. So in this way, either we serve God, we have the free will to either serve God or we serve dog. But we serve all the time, right? We have to generally serve all the time because that is the dharma of the soul. But whom do we serve? That is in our hands, like that. Okay. Leela Nandini Mataji, okay. Yeah, you're back. Go ahead. This process of kirtan yataha,
Yeah, there is this process. Hare Krishna Mataji Dandat Pranam.
Hari bol, Dhanavats. Yes, Madhu, go ahead.
This process of kirtayanta, always chanting the glories of the Lord, is the beginning of becoming a Mahatma. That process is simplified by Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, who imparted to humankind this chanting of Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. There are 9 different processes of devotional service, of which Shravanam, Kirtanam, hearing and chanting are the most important. Kirtanam actually means describing. We can describe with music, words, pictures, etc. Shravanam goes hand in hand with Kirtanam, for unless we hear, we cannot describe. We don't need any material qualifications in order to attain the Supreme. All we have to do is hear from authoritative sources and repeat accurately what we hear. Formerly, the Vedas were heard by the student from the spiritual master, and thus the Vedas became known as Shruti, that which is heard. In the Bhagavad Gita, for example, we see that Arjuna is listening to Krishna on the battlefield. He is not engaged in the study of Vedanta philosophy. We can hear from the supreme authority in any place, even on the battlefield. The knowledge is received, not manufactured. Some people think, why should I listen to him? I can think for myself. I can manufacture something new. This is not the Vedic process of descending knowledge. By ascending knowledge, one tries to elevate himself by his own effort, but by descending knowledge, one receives the knowledge from a superior source. In the Vedic tradition, knowledge is imparted to the student from the spiritual master, as in the Bhagavad Gita. Evam parampara praptam imam rajarishyo viduhu. So submissive hearing is so powerful that simply by hearing from authoritative sources, we can become completely perfect. In becoming submissive, we become aware of our own imperfections. As long as we are conditioned, we are subject to 4 kinds of imperfections. We are sure to commit mistakes, to become illusioned, to have imperfect senses, and to cheat. Therefore, our attempt to understand the absolute truth by our faulty senses and experience is futile. We must hear from the representative of Krishna, who is a devotee of Krishna. Krishna made Arjuna his representative because Arjuna was his devotee. Bhaktosmi Sakha Cheti. Bhagavad Gita, chapter 4.3. No
Hare
one can
Krishna.
become.
Thank you, Mataji.
Hare Krishna, Hari Bol. Thank you,
Hare Krishna.
Mataji.
Thank you. Hari bol, Hare Krishna.
Hari
So
Bol.
here, Prabhupada is making a very important point here, right? We have 4 kinds of imperfections, right? We are subject to illusion. We have imperfect. We have imperfect senses. We have the tendency to commit mistakes, and we have the tendency to cheat. Because of that, whatever anuman, whatever assumptions we make, right? And sometimes we make assumptions and we make some theory out of it, right? Which will, so these are the assumptions by which, that's how we even write our science experiments, right? We have certain assumptions, we have certain ingredients, and then according to the assumptions, we are doing certain steps, thus proved like that, right? It does not work in the case of spiritual subject matters. Why? Because of these 4 defects of the that is inherently present in a jiva or in a living entity, that we have imperfect senses. Like Prabhupada talks about how we cannot see certain body parts, right? Can we see the nape of our neck? We cannot see. We cannot see our own eyelashes, right? So, and with these imperfect senses, we want to see God, right? We cannot see so many material things also, right? It's something which is very, very small, like a bacteria or a virus or the soul, right? We cannot see any of them with our eyes, but we want to see transcendental subject matters with our eyes, right? That's why seeing is believing is a very wrong notion, right? So there is pratyaksha praman, there is anumana praman, and there is shabda praman. So here Prabhupada gives importance, or what is the best form of your hearing and understanding transcendental subject matters is through shabda praman. Shabda means with the sound, and how do we understand the sound? By hearing, right? Shravanadi shuddha chitta kare udaya. So Shravanadi, by Shravan, what happens? Our chitta becomes shuddha, right? Shravanadi shuddha chitta kare udaya. And what becomes udaya? The dormant Krishna consciousness that is lying in our hearts becomes udaya. So what is the process of doing this? Shabda and Shruti. By hearing from a bona fide spiritual master, we have to hear from a representative of Krishna, who is a devotee of Krishna, right? And provided Krishna, again, there is a repetition here of why Krishna chose Arjuna to become his representative, right? Nimitta matram bhavasavya sachin. O Arjuna, become an instrument in delivering this knowledge of Bhagavad Gita, so that people in general understand how to perform work in this material world. Right? Why did Krishna choose Arjuna? Because Bhakto Sime Sakha Cheti Rahasyam Hi Etam Uttama. Right? In 4.3, Krishna says, right? After he says, Evam Parampara Prapti Mem Rajarsyo Vidu. Right? He gave this knowledge to sun god. The sun god Vivaswan, who gave to Manu, to Ikshwaku, like that, the in descending knowledge, this knowledge came down, right? That's why it's called Aroha Panta and Avaroha Panta. Aroha Panta is mental speculation. Naiti, this cannot be this cannot be this, it has to be like this. But the best intelligent person, how does he understand transcendental knowledge? By the Avaroha Panta. Avaroha Panta means we hear from our spiritual master, who hears from his spiritual master. In this way, the line of disciplic succession, the knowledge flows from Lord Sri Krishna himself. That is called the Avaroha Panta. And what do we have to do? What do we have to ensure? We have to ensure that it is one of the four bona fide paramparas, which is either it is Brahma Sampradaya, which we belong to, where the Krishna passed on the knowledge to Brahma, and in Brahma's lineage we're getting the knowledge, or it can be Rudra Sampradaya, where Krishna has passed on the knowledge to Rudra or Lord Shiva, or Kumara Sampradaya, where Krishna has passed the knowledge to Sanat Kumaras, who are in turn passing down that knowledge in the disciplic succession, or Shri Sampradaya, where Krishna has passed that knowledge to Lakshmi Devi. And from that, so these are the only four paramparas: Brahma Sampradaya, Kumara Sampradaya, Rudra Sampradaya, and Shri Sampradaya. So there is no other fifth Sampradaya which is bona fide. So we have to ensure that we are hearing from a spiritual master who is following one of these four bona fide paramparas, right? And then now Prabhupada goes on to tell us that one cannot follow a representative of God and not become a devotee, because if you go to a proper school which is properly recognized, attend the classes and give the exam, automatically we will progress, right, in the school, from first standard to second standard to third standard to fourth standard, like that. So simply when we hear the transcendental knowledge from a bona fide spiritual master, one has to become a devotee, because that is the goal, right? One will automatically attain that particular position, like that. All right, so let's ask someone to read. Anyone wants to read? Let me share my screen. यार ये mouse क्या हो गया इसको? Just 1 second. Something wrong with this mouse. It just keeps on running like that. Yeah, okay. Yeah, anyone wants to read? Yeah, Shruti Mataji, go ahead. No one can become a representative of God without being his devotee. From there.
No one can become a representative of God without being his devotee. One who thinks I'm God cannot be a representative. Because we are part and parcel of God, our qualities are the same as His, and therefore, if we study these qualities in ourselves, we come to learn something of God. This does not mean that we understand the quantity of God. This self-realization process is one way of understanding God, but in no case can we preach I am God. We cannot claim to be God without being able to display the powers of God. As far as Krishna is concerned, he proved that he was God by displaying so much power and by revealing his universal form to Arjuna. Krishna showed this awesome form in order to discourage people who claim to be God. We should not be fooled by one who claims to be God. Following in the footsteps of Arjuna, we should request to see the universal form before accepting anyone as God. Only a fool would accept another fool as God. No one can be equal to God, and no one can be above him. Even Lord Brahma and Lord Shiva, the most exalted demigods, are subservient to him and pay their respectful obeisances. Instead of trying to become God by one meditational process or another, we had better hear about God submissively and try to understand him and our relationship to him. The representative of God never claims to be God or an incarnation of God, but the servant of God. This is a sign of the bona fide representative. Whatever we learn of God from authoritative sources can be described, and that will help us make spiritual progress. This description is called Kirtana. If we try to repeat what we hear, we become established in knowledge. By the process of Shravanam, Kirtanam, hearing and chanting, we can become free from material conditioning and attain to the kingdom of God. In this age, it is impossible to practice sacrifice, speculation, or yoga. There is no way open to us but the way of hearing submissively from authoritative sources. This is the way the Mahatmas received the most confidential knowledge. It is the way Arjuna received it from Krishna, and it is the way we must receive it from the disciplic succession stemming from Arjuna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you so
Hare
much, Mataji. Hari Bol. So here, very important point is, right, when we hear from authoritative sources, we get the right kind of knowledge. Otherwise, when we use mental speculation, right, it becomes like the what do you call that? From hearsay, when one person tells to another person tells to another person. So in this way, the message gets transmitted in the right way, right? Because the person who's transferring the message does not add his or her interpretation to the entire thing, right? When I'm just repeating what the other person is saying, and I tell somebody and somebody else tells somebody else, right? The message is not changed. Then there is no personal misinterpretation. Then there is no confusion, right? Because nobody adds their own, their own assumptions to it, right? When you're simply repeating the words of a spiritual master, then there is no confusion. Then there is no, misrepresentation of facts. But what is most important here, as we hear from a bona fide spiritual master, the most important factor here is submissiveness. Trinadapi shunichena taroriva sahishuna amanina manadena kirtaniya sadahari. So submissiveness is most important here, right? One can become submissive to a spiritual master only when one understands the higher authority of the spiritual master. One can become only submissive when one understands the value of the other person and how much he has to understand this spiritual subject matters from that other person. Otherwise, what do? We simply speculate in our mind. Oh, why should I listen to him? I can also understand and analyze by using my own brain, right? That is what is the general tendency. So next chapter, Prabhupada is going to give the importance of taking up a guru, coming in the bona fide disciplic succession, right? Chapter 5, Parampara, knowledge through disciplic succession. So we'll end with this. Meenakshi Mataji, you want to read? Shri Bhagavan Uvacha.
Hare Krishna Mataji. Yes, Mataji. Shri Bhagavan Uvacha. Imam vivasvate yogam proktavan aham avyayam vivaswan manave praha. I am not able to see the last. Manur ikshvakave bravit. The personality of Godhead, Lord Shri Krishna said, I instructed this imperishable science of yoga to the sun god Vivaswan, and Vivaswan instructed it to Manu, the father of mankind, and Manu in turn instructed it to Ikshvaku. Bhagavad Gita 4.1. Many years ago, Krishna imparted the divine knowledge of the Bhagavad Gita to Vivaswan, the god of the sun. To the best of our knowledge, the sun is a very hot place, and we do not consider it possible for anyone to live there. It is not even possible to approach the sun very closely with these bodies. However, from the Vedic literatures, we can understand that the sun is a planet just like this one, except everything there is composed of fire. Just as this planet is predominantly composed of earth, there are other planets which are predominantly composed of fire, water, or air. The living entities on these various planets acquire bodies composed of elements in accordance with the predominating element on the planet. Therefore, those beings who live on the sun have bodies composed of fire. Of all beings on the sun, the principal personality is a god by the name of Vivaswan. He is known as the sun god, Surya Narayana. On all the planets, there are principal personalities, just as the United States, the chief person is the president. From the history called the Mahabharata, we understand that formerly there was one king on this planet by the name of Maharaja Bharata. He ruled some 5,000 years ago, and the planet was named after him. Subsequently, the earth has become divided into so many different countries. In this way, there is usually one and sometimes many controllers of the various planets in this universe. From this first verse of the 4th chapter, we learn that millions of years ago, Sri Krishna imparted the knowledge of Karma Yoga to the sun god Vivaswan. Sri Krishna, who imparts the teachings of the Bhagavad Gita to Arjuna, here indicates that these teachings are not at all new, but very enunciated many ages ago on a different planet. Vivaswan, in his turn, repeated these teachings to his son Manu. In turn, Manu imparted the knowledge to his disciple Ikshvaku. Maharaja Ikshvaku was a great king and a forefather of the Lord Ramachandra. The point being made here is that if one wants to learn the Bhagavad Gita and profit by it, there is a process for understanding it, and that process is described here. It's not that Krishna is speaking the Bhagavad Gita for the first time to Arjuna. It is estimated by Vedic authorities that the Lord imparted these divine instructions. Mataji, could you scroll to Vivaswan some 400 million years ago. From the Mahabharata, we understand that the Bhagavad Gita was spoken to Arjuna some 5,000 years ago. Before Arjuna, the teachings were handed down by disciplic succession, but over such a long period of time, the teachings became lost. Evam parampara praptam imam raja rasayo vidhu sakale neha mahata Yogo naste parantapa sa evayam maya tedhya yoga prokta puratana bhaktosi me sakha cheti rahasyam hi etad uttamam. This supreme science was thus received through the chain of disciplic succession, and the saintly kings understood it in that. But in course of time, the succession was broken, and therefore the science, as it appears to be lost, that very ancient science of the relationship with the Supreme is today told by me to you, because you are my devotee as well as my friend, and can therefore understand the transcendental mystery of this science. Bhagavad Gita 4.2 and 3. In the Bhagavad Gita, a number of lokas. Hare Krishna, Mataji.
Hare Krishna. Thank you so much. So here we see how Srila Prabhupada is establishing the fact that there are living entities in every planet, right? We also see, in the water bodies, right? We find in the ocean there are sharks, there are whales, there are animals which survive in the water. We are not able to live in the water. That does not mean that there is no life in the water. Like similarly, Prabhupada is explaining here how the 5 constitutional elements, like earth, water, fire, air, ether, right? Bhumi, Rapo, Nalo, Vayu, right? These 5 elements are actually created by the Lord, and anyone who is designated to be in a particular place accordingly has a composition, right? For example, if you have to go to the fire planet or to the sun planet, then our composition of fire is such that we are able to sustain the heat of the sun planet and live there. And then if you are supposed to be in the earth planet, then our constitution is more of ether, where we are, which is suitable for being in the earth planet, like that. So it is not possible for us to enter into the moon planet with this body, first and foremost. Why? Because the constitution of this body cannot survive in the moon planet, right? As simple as that. So it is very important that we understand that we should not adopt mechanical means to go to each of these various planets. Rather, we should, it is given, the way that is given is we have to worship that particular demigod, right? If you want to go to the moon, we have to worship Chandradev. And then once he is pleased, then we can go to the moon planet. But Prabhupada, Krishna tells in Bhagavad Gita, an intelligent person does not want to go to Chandra, the planet of the moon god or the planet of the sun god. Why? Because wherever one goes, one has to come back to this material world. Brahma Bhuvanan Loka Punar Avartino Arjuna. So what is the fun in going to these planets? Because in any case, once our pious credits are exhausted, we are going to come back to this material world. So what does an intelligent person do? An intelligent person, he worships the Supreme Personality of Godhead and gets transferred to that world from where there is no return. Yad Gatvana Nivartante Tad Dhamma Paramam Mama. One gets transported to that spiritual world from where one need not come back to this material world. And then Prabhupada also talks about who is a person who is able to do this. A person who is non-envious, right? One who is a person who is non-envious can only be submissive. When one is non-envious, one submits to one spiritual master, then one can understand all these tattvas, right? That this knowledge was actually given by Lord Sri Krishna to Vivaswan. Vivaswan is the sun god. There are living entities existing in the sun planet. Just like Prabhupada gives example of how the president is the highest authority in the United States of America. Similarly, the sun god is the highest authority in the sun planet, right? So, but apart from the sun god, there are other living entities also who have the bodily constitution like that, which can sustain in the sun planet. So all this we can understand only when we are submissive, only when we have faith in the Shastras, only when we believe that Lord Krishna has actually given this knowledge to the sun god. If we say, oh no, why should I believe this, right? Then we needs faith to sustain one in Krishna consciousness. Krishna consciousness is a scientific process, but even in the material world, we place faith in our material teachers, right? We place faith in so many things, right? For example, if you want to go from here to Mira Road, it's called temple, right? If I take an auto, then I place my faith in that auto driver, that he will be, he knows how to drive the auto, right? He's not drunk, right? He will take me safely towards, crossing all the, the entire roads, and he will go to Mira Road, right? For example, if I go to Chennai, for example, then I take the flight. I don't check whether the pilot has got, the license to fly this flight and all that, right? We trust and place our faith in so many people, even in this material world. We just go to a school, right? We place faith in a particular school, in the ability of the teacher to teach our children, isn't it? We don't go and check whether that particular teacher has got a B.Ed degree, or whatever it is, right? We trust the school and the school authorities to do those checks, and we happily send our children to the school. So we place faith in every aspect of our material life. So how much faith do we have to place to understand the spiritual subject matters? And it is not blind faith. We are placing faith only when a particular spiritual master is coming in the bona fide authority. We know what are the four bona fide sampradayas, right? So it is not that we are blindly placing our faith in anybody and everybody who's calling himself guru or God, right? We don't place faith, and especially if a person is a Shaktivesh avatar of the Lord. So I was hearing His Holiness Bhanuswami Maharaj class this morning. So Maharaj was saying, even Prabhupada did not like us calling him Jagat Guru Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Why? Because even Shankaracharya was called Jagat Guru, right? So similarly, why do these gurus don't want themselves to be called as Jagat Guru? Because if we call them and they accept it, then any other person will just show up tomorrow and say that I am Jagat Guru, I am the Guru of the entire world, everybody worship me, like that, right? That's why Prabhupada says, anybody comes and tells I am God, ask them to lift up the table, right? Lift up the table just next to us, right? You don't have to lift the Govardhan hill, just lift this table with your small finger. If you can lift that, then we can talk further about whether you are God or not, right? So in this way, Prabhupada gives us very, very clear, day-to-day examples to show that by meditating process or by following some Ashtanga yoga or by, doing some Siddhic process, one cannot become God. God is God in all circumstances. Prabhupada says, when the Lord was very small, right? When you just a couple of days old, couple of years old, he actually killed Putana. He killed the Agasura demon, right? In this way, the Lord killed so many demons. The Lord lifted the Govardhan hill when he was a very small boy with the small finger of his left hand. Right? So we need to understand that the Lord is Lord in all circumstances. His power is so immense that simply an ordinary person, by performing some meditation or Ashtanga yoga system, cannot attain the power of the Lord. Right? And there are so many instances. Right? Narada Muni goes to the spiritual world and to see what Krishna is doing. Especially after Krishna married those 16,000 queens whom Narakasura had abducted. Right? And Narada Muni saw that Krishna was there, personally present. He expanded himself in 16,000 times, and he was present personally with each queen. Sometimes he was playing with the sun, sometimes he was doing administration in the court, in the palace, and sometimes he was talking to one of his wives. So like this, the Lord expanded. Right? It is said that even those who practice Ashtanga yogis and all those siddhis, they cannot expand more than eight times. That too, a perfected siddhi cannot expand more than 8 times. That means he can be present only in maximum 8 places. If he is advanced and he is really an Ashtanga yogi, a siddhi who is a perfected Ashtanga yoga. But Lord Sri Krishna was personally present in 16,000 places at the same time, right? Knowing what each person is doing and interacting and reciprocating with all those people simultaneously in all those places. So we need to understand here that we should not be envious of the Lord. Rather, we should glorify that our Lord is so great. And that also is a peace formula, right? When we understand that what is not within our control is within the control of the Lord, then to that extent, we don't feel anxiety. We just, Krishna is my best friend. Krishna is my supreme benedictor. Krishna is my well-wisher. Whatever happens only with the sanction of the Lord. And if the Lord is my best friend, he will never do something that is not good for me, right? In that way, we need not even worry about anything that is happening in this material world towards us, even though apparently, we may find that it is not very beneficial. It is not helping us in any way. Even then, we should understand that I have a very myopic view, a very small view, a short-sighted view of what is happening around me and what I think is good for me. But the Lord has a higher vision. The Lord is Trikali. That means he knows, he knows the past, he knows the present, and he knows the future. But what do I know? I think I know certain things. That is very, very short-sighted. I know only what has happened, say, in the last 5 minutes. I can say that, oh, this happened and that's what happened, like that. I don't remember what happened even 1 week ago. If I were to ask, last Wednesday or today is Thursday. Today is Friday, sorry. Yeah? Oh, today is Thursday or Friday? Today is Thursday. So if I were to ask last Thursday at 6:41, right? What were you doing, right? At least we know that, because maybe you would have been studying Srila Prabhupada's books, right? But if somebody were to ask, what lunch did you have on last Thursday, right? We don't remember at all, right? What lunch we had, even day before yesterday, what we had, we don't remember. Yesterday also, what we had, we don't remember. So our memory is so, we are so manda sumanta matayo manda bhagyo upadrita, right? We don't remember anything. But I am talking about those Ashtanga Siddhis who have perfected their lives by performing Ashtanga Yoga. Even they can expand only up to 8 times. But the Supreme Lord can expand unlimited number of times. And he does not do all of this to show off himself, right? He did not marry the 16,000 queens to show off to the world that I am so great, right? He married those queens because those queens were captured by Narakasura and they expressed their desire to Krishna. Oh, Krishna, right? Nobody will accept us. We want you to marry us. You have rescued us and we want you to marry us. So when Krishna heard this, there's this request from these queens, right? These 16,000 queens, then he actually married them and expanded 16,000 times, right? Krishna did not lift the Govardhan hill to show his prowess. Krishna lifted the Govardhan hill to protect the Vrajavasis, right? So in this way, now Krishna's power, Krishna's beauty, Krishna's knowledge, Krishna's renunciation, Krishna's riches, Krishna's strength, right? Balam balavatam asmi, right? Krishna tells in Bhagavad Gita. So whatever little strength that we may possess, the source of all of that is Lord Krishna himself. So when we express our gratitude to the Lord for whatever skills, resources that we possess, and we are not envious of the Lord, then Krishna will impart the transcendental knowledge in our heart. Otherwise, if you want to become a competitor to Krishna, then we are paving our way to doom, right? Because we are just what do you call cutting or uprooting the seed of devotional service that has been implanted in our hearts by our spiritual master, by the senior devotees. And how do we water it? We water it by Shravanam and Kirtanam. That is why in this particular chapter, what is given? 3-4 important points. One, we receive the transcendental knowledge only from one of the gurus from the bona fide parampara. Secondly, how do we receive that knowledge? Only when we have humility, when we are not envious of our gurus, when we are not envious of the people around us, when we are not envious of God. Only then the transcendental knowledge can be revealed in our heart. And then finally, Srila Prabhupada ends by saying that why this knowledge was given to Arjuna, because he was a devotee of the Lord, he was not envious of the Lord. So when we are not envious of the Lord, when our desire is to serve the Lord and satisfy the Lord, then the Lord will give us intelligence how we can go back home, back to Godhead. Jagat Guru Srila Prabhupada ki jai. So we'll end here. Shobha Mataji, you can read tomorrow if you happen to join. Otherwise, whenever you join, maybe next time, then you can read. So thank you very much. Jagat Guru Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Shri Guru Deva ki jai. Now we'll do Harinam Sankirtan and then we'll end our session. Namah Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prishthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swami Namine Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvisesha Shunyavadi Paschatyarishatarine Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nitya Nanda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Jaya Gauranitai Jaya Gauranitai Gauranitai Jaya Gauranitai Jaya Jaya Prabhupada Prabhupada. Gurudev, Gurudev. Nitai Gaura Hari Bol. Hari Bol. Hari Bol. Hari Bol. Nitai Gaura Hari Bol. Hari Bol. Hari Bol. Hari Bol. Guru Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Shri Gurudev ki jai, Harinam Sankirtan ki jai, Samveda Bhaktavrind ki jai. All glory to the assembled devotees, Hare Krishna. All glory to the assembled devotees, Hare Krishna. All glory to the assembled devotees, Hare Krishna. All glories, all glories, all glories to Shri Shri Guru and Shri Gauranga, Shri Prabhupada ki jai. Shri Gurudev ki jai, Nitai Gaura Premanande. Hari Hari Bol, Hare Krishna. So thank you very much. Meet you all tomorrow morning, 5 o'clock for the chanting session. And then we'll meet in the evening, 6 o'clock for our study of Srila Prabhupada's book, Raja Vidya, the King of Knowledge. Jagat Guru Srila Prabhupada, Srila Gurudev ki jai, Nitai Gaur Premanande. Hari Hari Bol. So anyone wants to share anything, ask anything, then
Hare Krishna,
then we can.
Dandavad Pranam, Mataji. Is this time fixed, Mataji? Because earlier we used to have at 12:30, 1 o'clock. Huh?
Yeah, I was thinking, we'll do it in the Sandhya Kal. It is auspicious to do it in the evening. So we are having morning 5 o'clock and evening 6 o'clock. So yeah, so I request devotees, especially those based out of India, to we can engage in this.
Because in whole of Kartik month, it was so busy, heavy, hectic schedule was there. So I could not attend so many classes.
And now you can join. So we can join from.
I'm joining.
Hare Krishna. Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Srila Gurudev ki jai, Ananta Koti Vaishnava Vrinda ki jai, Nitai Gaur Premanande. Hari Hari
Hari
Bol.
Hari Bol.
Mataji,
Hare
when will
Krishna.
I get that BG copy, Mataji?
Who's speaking?
Shobha Mataji.
Over here.
Sorry, what will you get?
When will I get that BG copy? I want to gift my son on the wedding.
Oh, okay. Just give me your address, Mataji. I thought it was sponsoring for Bhagavad Gita. So if you want, then you have to specifically mention that you want it couriered, so I can have that sent to you to Chennai.
I will send one more donation so that one you can use for Dan and one I will use for this.
Okay, fine, no problem. I can have it couriered to you, Mataji. Just give me your full address. I am not. Have you already given your address?
Yes, Mataji, I have texted in your WhatsApp.
Sure. I'll have that sent, Mataji. And I think it will probably take a few days, I think. So we'll have that sent tomorrow itself. I'll have that.
No problem. I will book one in locally itself. No problem. Hare Krishna.
Mataji, what is the rate of
Mataji,
BG
this
in
Bhagavad Gita is
Please,
for the whole month.
So it depends on the language.
Oh, okay, Mataji.
English
Mataji,
is
this
costlier than all. English language is costlier.
English is 280. I already put in Medavini group the English Krishna book.
Oh,
And English Krishna book is 310. And English Bhagavad Gita is 280. And other languages, then it varies. Depends on the languages. There's a 10-20 rupees difference.
Yeah, Marathi is lesser than all, I think.
Yeah, you can write to me if you want a particular language, and I can share it with you.
Mataji, you can get Prabhupada's book, Mataji, chanting Hare Krishna or Hare Krishna, that small additional this thing you can give.
Yeah, we can give that, but that cannot be couriered separately. But if since you're already ordering the 60 Bhagavad Gitas, along with that, if you want other books, then you can pay for that. Then together with that, we can have the sent.
Okay.
Chanting
Mataji,
Hare Krishna and all are like 80 rupees or something like that, 80-90 rupees.
Mataji, this
if we
whole
order,
month
you
we
get
have
it
this
in concessional rate award. Haribol. If we order in bulk, you get it in concessional rate award.
It's already concessional rate, Mataji. It's book marathon prices. So, why is it at this rate? Is because we want the devotees to take more, and more importantly, as devotees, we all have our Bhagavad Gita. We want to distribute. We want to
Gita Jayanti, na? Gita Jayanti.
Yeah. So Gita Dan is the best Dan, right? Charity. We as grihasthas we have to do charity.
When is the Gita? When is the Gita?
December 10th.
December 10th. Okay.
So,
Yeah.
I think the second Ekadashi, right? Okay, fine. I'll have to check that in the calendar.
Mataji,
Yeah.
today itself I will
It's
send
on December
Mataji.
26th, Mataji.
Tomorrow you can ask them to courier.
Gita
Yes,
Jayanti
yes.
is 26th.
Send it.
What? Acha.
Yeah, it's on Mokshada Ekadashi is on 26th
Mataji,
December.
the
Yeah.
whole
Because
month
of
is
Adhik Mas, I think
distribution.
it has gone. Otherwise, always it used to be on December 10th.
Yeah, it is not. It is never a particular date, Mataji. Whether or not Purushottam Adhika Mas is there, it
Yeah.
always varies according to the tithi. Yeah.
Yeah. That's right.
Probably, Mataji, what are you saying?
The whole month we have the book distribution. I want to get after 15 days, little more books I want to get.
Yes,
That's why
please, please. So that is what I said. There are two Ekadashis. The first Ekadashi, we will also request His Holiness Bhakti Vijay Bhagavat Swami Maharaj will actually pray for all the devotees. That's why I'm asking devotees, whoever are donating, to also mention their family members' names. Because those will be read out by Maharaj. Because I specifically asked Maharaj, Maharaj has kindly agreed that all of you all who are contributing for this Gita Dan will get special blessings of their lordships on the occasion of Ekadashi. And then the second Ekadashi, again, when you contribute more, then again your names will be read out like that. Yeah. So we will do it in two parts. First Ekadashi, we will send the first lot of names. And then the second Ekadashi, whoever are contributing, then we'll send it off again for the second time.
Mataji, another thing, one in our Tamil Nadu, we have that Margali Masam and all, no, that Margali. That
we'll sing those daily songs, Advar songs. Ongi Ulagalanda Uttaman Per Padi, Nangal Nambavik Chatter Nira. Yeah. I mean, see, those are coming under the Shri Vaishnava Parampara.
Mataji, how come you know Tamil? You are a Telugu, na?
No, I'm a Tamilian, Mataji.
No, she's Tamilian.
You are from Hyderabad, no?
No, I'm actually from Tiruchirappalli, Srirangam.
We
Not
visit.
Tiruchirappalli.
Me too, Srirangam Mataji.
Hare Krishna Mataji, me too, Srirangam.
I was thinking that you are from Hyderabad, Telugu. I was thinking like that.
I don't know one word of Telugu also, Mataji.
I'm to Tiruchirappalli near Srirangam.
No, I'm also not Srirangam. I was also like from Tiruchirappalli only. But I was just saying, Srirangam, my grandmother used to go almost every day. She'll go to Ranganath temple like that. Yeah. And I'm in Bombay for the last almost like 2006. So I become a Mumbai Vasi now. Not much of opportunity of speaking in Tamil. Yeah.
We are from Palakkad.
I request you to read that.
I was born in Trivandrum. My father's side were in Trichy. My mother's side is from Trivandrum. And finally, I've landed up in Bombay. And my education I did in Chennai. And finally, I'm in Mumbai now. So, yeah. And Vasudeva Kutumbakam. We are ISKCON means we are all Vasudeva Kutumbakam. We're all one family.
Which school in Chennai?
Holy Angels.
Holy Angels. I was studied in Bain School, Mataji, Kilpauk Bain School.
Okay. Hare Krishna. Okay. So, thank you very much. Happy to know that we're all connected and right. In any case,
Mataji was born in Trivandrum. I was also just born in Trivandrum, got a full Maharashtra.
Haribol, nice. So it's a small world. It's Vasudeva Kutumbakam, right? We're all wherever we are born. We are all one big family. We're led by Srila Prabhupada. Yeah. So thank you very much for joining in. Jagat Guru Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Srila Gurudev ki jai. Nitai Gaur Premanande. Hari Hari. Thank you.